Well, howdy everybody. This is Jason from Southern Bush Motorsports. Glad to see you come by and check on another Tales from the Bush. This one right here, obviously you can see that's a 70 Superbird. The craziest thing about this story here is that's the first Superbird I had ever seen in my entire life. This guy had called me out and said he had about 50 cars he wanted me to take a look at and document for him and verify. No, this is just me getting started, so my camera was not the greatest camera in the world, but what you were looking at is a completely untouched 1970 446 pack Superbird. Never been touched, never been taken apart, never been restored. It was such an honor to take a look at this car and document it. It's why I took so many pictures. I didn't put them all here because it's just mundane to look at all these different pictures, but this car was just so cool. I had never seen anything like this in my life. I was like, wow, that's a weird looking car. And the guy that owned the car, he's like, so you do this for a living? You've never seen a Superbird up close before? And I'm like, no sir, sure haven't, but this sure is a really cool car. So he explained the whole Superbird spiel to me, and I was pretty excited to be out there taking pictures of this car. I guess the craziest part about it was to know that this car was completely untouched. This car was coming out of a private collection from a doctor, and he had about 100, 125 of these cars, and he specialized in when he bought cars. He bought them back in the 80s when nobody was thinking about this stuff. He bought these cars knowing that one day they were going to be worth some money. I mean, back then, who really was thinking about this stuff? We were all driving these cars just to get back and forth to work. I mean, yeah, they were cool, and yeah, we were all gearheads, but the majority of us were driving them back and forth to get to work. Guys like this doctor were putting these cars away for the future, knowing that they were going to be worth something later on. This car right here doesn't have the lowest mileage on it, but to see a car of this caliber in this condition, knowing that it hasn't been touched, well, that was just a sight to see. A lot of these Superbirds were Alpine white. Quite a few of them were anyways, and I know a lot of people, it's not their favorite color in the world, but when you get up close to a car that's original factory Alpine white paint, and you get touching it and being around it and stuff, it sure is a really cool color. It's a very deep, rich color. Now, as we get into this Superbird, some of you are going to be looking at these pictures like, there's no way that car's unrestored. Half the pictures, it looks like that nose cone's a different color. I can assure you that it's because I had a crappy digital camera, because at the time I had the best camera out there, but at the time that's all I could use. It was the only camera that was good, so I went with what I had. You can see how the front end of this car, look at that, they weren't perfect. They were sent off to that place to have the nose cone and the wing put on it, and I don't think any of them were really dead straight perfect. But you can't deny that front end. That's just something right there. I mean, that just screams, go ahead, try me, race me. It was pretty interesting to go through this collection. This was the first car that he had pulled out of the building for me, and we staged it up in this area. If I remember right, I ended up buying this car and turning it over at, where was I? I was at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I turned over about 5 or 6 of these Superbirds in one weekend. And one of the Superbirds, I got a chance to drive around the actual Charlotte Motor Speedway racetrack. That was quite something else. But as being somebody that's in this business, it was pretty cool to see this car and document it. And I felt it was so important to take a lot of pictures of everything. Edges, corners, seats, engines, underneath the car. Because even though this was my first Superbird, it definitely was not my first rodeo. Just because you tell me a car is unrestored doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. And a lot of the time people are just trying to make themselves a little bit more money. It was a Dana car, which I don't think all the, I don't know, but I don't think all the six-pack cars and Superbirds, and I don't know if they all had Dana rear ends in them or not. Thought some of them had 8 3/4 rear ends in them. But you're talking this is a long time ago. I mean, you can see that white car on the right hand side of the screen. It's a Honda Accord. That's how I started out. I didn't even have my big vans and trailers and all that stuff yet. I was just, getting her done and getting out there and getting as many pictures as I could. And as I got this car opened up, I mean, there's that 6-pack engine right there. And there's always telltale signs that this thing might have been restored, and then it was just cleaned up afterwards or something, or made to look like it was restored. But honest to goodness, by this point in my career, I could tell if somebody was lying to me. Like, see those yellow stickers that are on top of that radiator support? Those are all aged to the car. Not to mention, if anybody's actually taken an engine out of one of these cars, you're going to bang that thing. You're going to bang something on the way out. I don't care how good you are. You're going to put a dent or a scratch on the shock tower. You're going to hit that radiator support. Telltale signs, none of that stuff was there. I mean, obviously you can see it didn't have the correct battery in it. It didn't have that original 6 red dot battery in it, but that battery's in there because I put that battery in there to get the thing started. I wanted to see what it looked like running. I want to hear it run myself. So as you're looking at this car, that's probably the only incorrect thing that you're going to see, but I assure you, I put the battery in the car just so I could get it up into there. By the time I had got there, all these cars from this private collection had been brought over to this fellow that was selling the car, or trying to sell the car. He wasn't very successful at it because that's the one thing that really helped me. That's the one thing that really helped me is because at this point I was headfirst into technology. This is when eBay had just started out. I was a main supplier on eBay for eBay Motors. I had direct connection and conversation with eBay executives because I was putting a lot of stuff on that eBay Motors to make it look good. So they were in direct connection with me. I was winning awards for highest hit automotive site. I was getting more hits on my site than Chevrolet, Mopar, and Ford. Even they were wondering how the heck I was doing it, but it was a trade secret. And, these cars were already at this guy's thing. As I go through with these tales from the bush, I'll let you know I'm going to call this the Preacher's Collection. And you'll be able to see the cars as I present them to you. Well, you can see right here, that's the trunk area. It's nice and clean. One of the things that this will really help with somebody that's perhaps got a Superbird and they're not sure about a few things. This is a good one to look at to be able to take a look at. Like I said, the thing that really helped me is that this car was completely untouched. There was no question it was an unrestored car. It tells me the way that it was. If you're trying to restore a Superbird, you can go back and look at these pictures and maybe get an idea of how things are supposed to go and how they're supposed to sit. I hope this helps somebody out. But to see a car like this so untouched, you can see a little tiny rust spot there. Definitely not a. It is a concourse car because it's been unrestored, I guess. But there's no playing around. The car is definitely, it is what it is. Can't deny it, the car is what it is. Now, I think a couple things have been done because I can tell you what, there's no way that tire changing instruction sticker survived the entire time. I'm guessing there wasn't one there and he might have put one there. That was a change that I definitely did notice. Because it's not like those stickers were laminated or anything. So, that was probably one of the things that did look like it was changed. But, and as you can see, this was a bench seat car too. So I thought that was kind of odd and cool at the same time. And I don't know if you can see it right there, but this was a 446 1970 446 pack Superbird pistol grip 4-speed car. That's right, pistol grip 4-speed with that bent seat. Boy, that'll take on a couple kneecaps right there, but hope you weren't sitting in the middle, because driving this car, boy, you could catch somebody in the knee with it. Just a beautiful engine compartment. It's just so crazy to see. You know, obviously that air cleaner sticker looks like it's been redone. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's the original sticker. I don't know. It was a pretty low mileage car. I think it had like 76,000 miles on it or something like that. But maybe that could be the original air cleaner sticker. I'm not too sure. It was hard to decipher it because it had a lot of wear on it. It had a lot of chips in it. It definitely was not a perfect sticker on any means. You can see it if you blow it up right there. But it was a survivor. You know, you can see the fender tag in place and the inspection sticker and all that stuff, and everything was in place the way it was supposed to be in place. And I deemed it as a survivor car, 100% survivor car. But when you look at a survivor car, there could be a few things that are adjusted on it and a couple parts changed here and there. But I think that's 76,000 or 26,000. Yeah, that's 26,000 miles. It was so crazy. A bench seat pistol grip 4-speed Superbird. How weird would that be driving that thing down the road? Boy, I'm telling you what, you'd probably smack a few knees with that thing. But that'd be so cool, pulling that pistol grip shifter back all that way, that long handle. It's such a big car to have a 4-speed in too. Well, I appreciate you coming by and checking out Tales from the Bush. And keep on collecting, everyone.